What's up, YouTube? Boy, back once again with another sport topic today. We're going to talk some football, Houston Texans football. But today we got a special guest in the building. Who we got today, man?
Third Coast Sports TV. Winks in the building. Boy Spitz reached out to me. Wanted to go ahead and knock this video. Got a nice sport topic for y'all tonight.
Alright, appreciate having you on, man. But like I've been telling you before, if you're liking the content, make sure you liking the channel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you comment on all the videos and sharing the videos. Look at this channel growing and growing. Now, Wink, we know, we know you go across the country, you know what I'm saying? And, even though you're not stationed in the city of Houston, but you around. But we know you can somewhat keep your eye on these old Houston Texans. And the season ain't looking too good, 1-10-1, and kind of a horrific season. And the conversation is that the Texans possibly need to clean house from top to bottom, which not only consider coaching staff, but also Nick Casario and people in the front office. And my thing is it time to start holding Nick Casario accountable for the way the team has looked so far under his 2-year tenure? What do you think about that?
We're in a rebuild. What the hell does anybody really expect? What, you thought we was going to be going to the playoffs? We're supposed to be in the hunt right now because of one draft. Okay. Yeah, Davis Mills the quarterback, but you're supposed to go. I don't know how that works. I get people's reservations when it comes to Nick Casario, when it comes to the Patriots ties. You're not quite sure exactly what moves and everything that he was able, his complete contribution of what he was able to build with the Patriots. You get him to come back. We have the situation with Bill O'Brien. We have Cal McNair, who is not really included in on football moves. He doesn't really know football like that. Then, you have the Jack Easterby, behind the scenes, like he's the jigsaw, like he's just putting everybody in a situation. And it's just, as much as people would like to blame Nick Casario for this, ultimately it's really above him because Cal has put all of these people in place to even make the moves that we see currently. They didn't really go out and go look for a coach. The fact that Luke McCown was on their minds and they thought that he was somebody who should have been brought in when he's done nothing. At least Lovey had a resume, something that you've seen before, but we didn't think it was going to be this bad. Mm-hmm. He sold us on a little bit of excitement. You started seeing things in the city. They started doing a lot more, and they drafted a lot of guys in this past draft that we like, and it's the only reason why you can even stomach to even look at the Houston Texans on a weekly basis. You only want to watch the rookies. Anyone saying anything outside of that, and if you were a Davis Mills supporter and you still continue to say that this man is good as that, at the end of the day, everything's wrong with the franchise. And if Nick Casario gone, you need to go too. Everything is wrong. Anybody who supports this trash can, I don't understand. I understand that they gonna bench him, and Kyle Allen, he gonna play against the Cowboys. He's about to get slaughtered. It's about to be, a lamb versus the lion. It's about to be a complete rape fest. So I don't really blame Nick Casario for what's going on. And I had reservations about Nick Casario being hired initially. I didn't want it. I wanted them to be able to go out and go get somebody from Pittsburgh, or, they had other executives who were out at the time that they could have gotten, where it would have put the Houston Texans in a better spot from a talent to coaching to execution, and just the overall way that the organization is being ran right now. But I think right now, Nick Casario is the least of our problems. We need to be looking for a head coach. We need to be looking for a defensive coordinator, and we damn sure need to be looking for somebody to call the plays for this football team as we get the number 1 draft pick in this upcoming season.
Okay, but do you think that could be part of the problem, though?
Which problem are you discussing?
Like, because how you said that we're looking like our concern, it needs to be trying to find a head coach, and like this is I'm split on the whole Caserio thing because my my head is telling me one thing, and my feeling is telling me another. And you know me for a while, I never let personal feelings get involved with football. I'm not a homer. If I believe somebody outside the Texans is better than a player on the Texans roster, I'm gonna say I was the one for years in the South saying that Patrick Mahomes is better than Deshaun because that's how I felt. So you know that. And from a feeling standpoint, I don't want to get rid of Nick Casario, because if you get rid of Nick Casario, you've already got rid of Jack and you got rid of Bill O'Brien. That means 2 years ago you just made the wrong decision. And if you would made this decision 2 years ago, Deshaun Watson probably would have been playing Sunday's game, but been in deep steel blue instead of white, brown, and brown. And also probably would have never even been gone for 2 years, because I believe, and this is a personal feeling, that I believe Deshaun Watson would never ask for a trade and remain the Houston Texans. We would never found out anything about those cases. Therefore, he would have never been suspended. So I believe we basically wasted these last 2 years if you decide to move on from Nick Casario. But what I say about my head tells me is that it is time to move on from Nick Casario, because if you actually evaluate what Nick Casario has done, he doesn't have a passing grade. People talk about he had a good draft, and that drafting I think it's a part that gets glorified when it comes to a general manager, but it's not the full job. In some aspects, it's actually a very small job of what they have to do. One, you have to hire head coaches. He's done a poor job twice in hiring David Culley and hiring Lovie Smith. He's done a poor job. He has a job of signing free agents. He's made bad deals. He's given Brandon Cooks extensions. He restructured Eric Murray for some strange reason. He gave Tyus Howard a 5-year extension. He's made bad 1-year deals. Then you go to trades. He traded Bernard McKinney to Miami to get Shaq Lawson, and then turn around and cut Shaq Lawson or trade Shaq Lawson before the season ends. He gives away for some peanuts. He trades away Charles Omenihu for nothing. Charles Omenihu's having a good season in San Francisco. You might want to hire D'Amico Ryans, but that's a whole nother conversation. And then the trade on not trading Brandon Cooks. You had a second-round pick on the table, and you do not pull the trigger on that said second-round pick. Just a lot of things he's done. And then when you go look at his draft, I know we like a lot of players, especially this last draft. That we like a lot of players that he's drafted. He's had a good draft. Not a great draft, not a bad draft, but not a great draft. I think he's had a good draft, because you can make a case for people that are rookies in the positions that he's drafted that are having better seasons than the guys he's drafted outside Dameon Pierce. And then you have some people in Seattle that would say Kenneth Walker's have a better season than Dameon Pierce. I don't believe so, but that's what some people will argue and say. So you can make a case, and I'm starting to think that maybe Nick Casario, he might be a good talent evaluator. He might be a good scout, but just because you're a good scout don't make you a good general manager. Just like you being a good offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator don't make you a good head coach. We see plenty of good OCs and DCs be horrible as head coach, but great offensive and defensive coordinators, but horrible as head coaches. Nick Casario might fall in that same line of being a good scout, but not a good general manager.
Yeah,
you do. I feel like you do need to give him. You do need to give him some more time. But if he has to hire a third head coach, is he going to make the right coaching decision? And how many general managers get to hire head coaches? We just seen John Robinson get fired with the Titans. More than likely, Chris Ballard is going to get fired with the Colts. There's rumors that the Jags general manager is going to get fired. So we're looking at 3 weeks from now, that Nick Casario is the longest tenured general manager in the AFC South, and the Titans have a winning record, are going to win the division, just coming off of having the number one seed in the AFC, and Vrabel is a damn good head coach. So, and that's who what's it called, hire in Jacksonville. I mean, not Jacksonville, in Tennessee. So,
yep.
and he still got fired. So my thing is, when are we going to start holding Nick Casario accountable? Because people want, because especially with the whole Sauce and Stingley comparison, oh, Derek Stingley's playing in the bad defense, and I agree with you. That's the reason why Sauce, I think, is flourishing, because he's playing in the defense that better suits him. But you drafted Stingley knowing that Stingley doesn't fit this defense. So, so ultimately, that's Nick Casario's fault for drafting a guy in a system that doesn't fit him. Why did you draft said guy, or why did you hire said guy? Like, you have to make a decision. You can't say, oh, well, this causes this and that. Okay, but you're allowing this to cause this and that. So therefore, I think
I can't put that completely. I can't put that completely on Nick Casario.
Talk to me.
I can't put all that on Nick Casario as far as the way that he thought that he would be played. I think when you just look at Derek Stingley, when you look at not only the just overall talent, what he was able to do in college, what he is doing currently in the NFL, I understand he's going to miss, 4 games, he's being held out. Like, I don't even think he's really injured like that. I just think that they're going here. They know that they made a big investment in Derek Stingley. They know what people are saying. They know what they have in the building. They see what this man has been able to do. He's went up against some great receivers, before his little injury. I'm not saying he didn't get hurt or he didn't hurt his hamstring, but 4 weeks, like, come on, man. We see.
I think they're being cautious. I think they're being overly cautious.
Yeah, but that doesn't do nothing but breed contempt for fans who sit here and say dumb shit like, "Oh, he's not good, he's injury prone." Bro, they're clearly holding him out just because, you know what I'm saying. So I don't like that for him.
Right.
I don't think anybody, especially the way that we saw them playing man coverage in this season with Lovey last year, because they ran mostly man over zone, just the year prior.
Right.
The defense looked completely different when Lovey came back with less talent, and now that he has more talent, a lot of those guys are playing, and they're playing in different positions. And when you add Steven Nelson, when you see how Jalen Petrie is playing, when you see how Desmond King is playing, and Tremont Smith and all of the cornerback group, you say, well, damn, how does this, you can look at some areas and see where Nick Casario is extremely talented. And just like Rick Smith, corner evaluation is I say secondary across the board, but I'm going to lean towards mostly the corners, because the corners that he was able, because the corners room that we have right now is probably one of the better corner rooms that we've had in quite some time. Probably, I'd say the 2011 corner class with Jason Allen and Kareem Jackson and Bryce McCain, which paired with J-Joe at that time, was a fantastic corner room. They were flying all over the place. They would get, and you can't miscount the 2016, them two. But
I think the best corner room we've had was, or the best DB room. I'm gonna just say it like that. I think the best DB room that we possibly have. I think. I know a lot of people might say, when you had Honey Badger and J. Joe back in 18, but I think it probably date back to y'all, if y'all were fans long enough, will probably be 2004 when you had Aaron Glenn, Dante Robinson, and you had Marcus Coleman. I think that might have been probably one of our best. If I'm not mistaken, I also think Philip Buchanan was in the DB room as well. Yeah. So I think that DB room, especially from a knowledge standpoint and from a talent standpoint, might be our best DB room so far. But I agree, and I was saying this last year that Nick Casario, like, if you go back in his track record in New England, they go out there and they get secondary guys, and I do think that Stingley, I think Stingley is is probably the most talented guy on this roster. If you want to say Larry Tunsil, I'm not going to argue, because Larry Tunsil is he is a generational talent when it comes from the left tackle position. I'm not going to argue with that. But Stingley is a physical specimen, and I agree, he is completely being unused properly because the way Lovey calls his defense. And I get what you're saying, that they didn't call Lovey didn't call the same exact type of defense last year, and when they call Stingley, when they draft Stingley, Lovey says, "How about you follow the number one receiver all game?" He's only done that once, and that was against Cortland Sutton. That was the only time he's done that. He has not given opportunity. Now out there in New York, they are giving Sauce the reins to cover his receivers one on one, and they're playing to his strengths. That is Stingley's strength. The thing is, Stingley's not playing poorly because Stingley is doing his job. Yeah, he's doing his job. He's not. I think he's the only starting corner in the NFL that's not gave up a touchdown all year. Like he's not gave a touchdown all season.
Nope.
Like he's the only starting cornerback that's done that in the NFL, from my mistake, or at least from the amount of snaps that he's played. Because I think he's also played while he was on the field. He played every snap. The only snap he's missed is the games he hasn't played outside when he left, and I think it was Jacksonville when he landed on his arm, or whatever game that was when he landed on his arm.
Yeah, for like a drive. Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah, but outside of from a play standpoint or to take a breather or whatever, he's been playing. And I think he's played the most up until he missed game. He's missed these games. He's played the most amount of snaps. So he's out there doing his job, and I think he got. I think I am a Sauce guy. I think he got the pick right because, in my opinion, I don't think you could have went wrong with either one. I think those two guys are going to be top echelon corners, and I think you're basically going to be splitting hairs or your preference of which corner you like the most out of those two. So I'm not going to say he made the wrong decision because I'm going to say I think both of those is 1A and 1B. Like 1A, they're right there. So it's pick your poison, but. Like I said, I think he's a good evaluator when it comes to talent because I like Petrie. Obviously, like Damian Pierce, he spotted Damian Pierce out of the rough because Damian Pierce only had 15 rushes per game. Well, that's the most carries he's ever had in the game was 15 carries. And he's only played the most snaps he's ever played in a game was 21 at Florida. So for you able to draft that guy fourth overall and him being your leading rusher and more than likely breaking the Texas rookie record, which is Steve Slade's rookie record at 1,200, I think, like 80 yard. I think it's 190. So something like that of rushing yards, and David Pierce should be able to break that. The problem is with that is that they're mismanaging him as well. Pep Hamilton is mismanaging him as well. Like you get into the red zone, you had 8 plays Sunday against the Browns in the red zone. Pierce had 1 attempt. 8 plays in the red zone. Pierce gets 1 attempt.
It's so many factors, bro. You got Lovey who don't know what the hell it don't look like he know what the hell he know about football no more. He's so aggravated now. Defensively, this game that we just watched against the Browns was a sensational game by the defense. I couldn't be more proud of the defense and what they were able to do. I understand a lot of Texans fans wanted to win that game for obvious reasons that we will not get into. But Damian Pierce was running the ball well, took the ball out of his hands. Kyle Allen was struggling. You could have easily ran it. You could have easily got him more involved, to be able to give you a little bit of a spark. He was running and trucking over dudes. He's exciting to watch. He is box office. Thing is, if they continue to remain with this current regime, not with this coaching regime, not so much as Nick. I think Nick made some safe moves, and he knew what we were going to end up having in a couple of years. You can look at the drafts that you have coming up and can be like, bro, I can completely revamp this roster. It's going to take time. I understand people are going to lose patience. They already knew the fix was in. They already knew Davis Mills was complete and utter garbage. You know what I'm saying? They just continued and allowed him to play, and he didn't get replaced until week 12, where they can safely solidify the number 1 overall pick, and you're out of playoff contention. That was done purposely. I don't think that – I think he's playing chess in a lot of ways, but it's clear that the rest of the staff is playing checkers. They don't have any moves. Lovie Smith will be fired, and I don't want to hear anything about, oh, he shouldn't get fired. He should get a chance. Bro, he has not done his job. He has gave excuses. He is not living up to the potential of what we thought he should be. It sucks for him because this may be his final opportunity as a head coach. But Pep Hamilton, of anybody on the staff, has to go first and foremost. If anyone deserves to get fired, like in an order, it's Pep, Lovey, and whoever else you want to go. I mean, if people feel they way, if they want Nick Casario gone. Okay, cool. But who are you going to get to replace him? That's the better question. For all these people who have all of these, these scenarios and who should get drafted and what's this and what direction we should go in. And I understand that everyone has a perspective, but head coach, you can look to several head coaches around the league and know exactly what you want to get. When it comes to executives, GMs, not quite sure, but seems like you have an answer, so you can go ahead and put it out there.
The guy I wanted 2 years ago, John Dorsey.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about from the Bills, right?
No, Ken Dorsey, that's the offensive coordinator. John Dorsey, who was the general manager, he was the general manager at Kansas City, who drafted Patrick Mahomes, drafted Travis Kelce, and then with the Cleveland, he drafted Nick Chubb, drafted cornerback. What's his name? Damn. Thank you, Denzel Ward. Now, to be fair, he did hire Freddie Kitchens. So